Alright guys, I'm probably just as excited as you are to see what's going on. It's been exactly 8 days. We did this project last Saturday, and today is Saturday as well. So I wanted to do a follow-up, see how our lawn project is going. Now, for those of you guys who are just tuning in, might be more beneficial for you to step back and watch the last episode, but I'll give you a brief recap. Got this lawn, he's a friend of mine, really nice property. Biggest problem that we're having is it has more weeds than it has grass. Now, even some of the grass that he has, it's less desirable grasses. We had Johnson grass, we've got orchard grass, we've got bunching tall fescue, we've got a lot of stuff. His dominant grass that he wants in here is Kentucky bluegrass. So what we did is we overseeded with a 90% blue, 10% rhizomatous tall fescue. We want to give it some time to really thicken up. Now, I think it's important to just kind of take a step back when it comes to the overseeding the grasses. Today's recap, I'm going to be surprised if we find a lot of new grass that's growing from the seed, because rhizomatous tall fescue takes about 10 to 14 days to really germinate. When it comes down to the Kentucky bluegrass, that could take anywhere between 3 and 5 weeks. Now, in the past, I've had really good germination rates with the Barenbrug product that we're using, and I've seen it germinate in as little as 10 days to 2 weeks with the rhizomatous tall fescue, and about 2 to 3 weeks with the Kentucky bluegrass. Now, first things first, what I want to do is I want to take a water saturation soil test. I'm just going to use my soil probe here real quick. The point of this exercise is to make sure that the homeowner is actually putting a sufficient amount of water in. Without the water, the seed's not going to germinate. Now, if you remember right, the best way to get seeds to germinate is to keep the soil moist. It has to stay damp and moist, and we have to have seed to soil contact for about 2 to 3 weeks with our Kentucky bluegrass. Otherwise, it's going to die out. But let's go see what the probe says. So I wanted to show you guys the soil sample that I've got. I mean, really good news. I mean, I'm pulling a 12 to 14 inch plug, which tells me the homeowner's definitely watering. We got plenty of water to go around, and the seeds should have no problems germinating. And now, basically what I want to see is I want to see this not muddy, but I don't want to see any dry spots. As you can see, I just put my finger on it, and we definitely have plenty of water in the soil, which I'm really happy about. The really good news, we've still got some healthy grass down beneath. So not only are we going to have a nice healthy overseed, but I'm hoping that we start seeing some of this Kentucky bluegrass popping through. I gotta say, I'm pretty relieved that I'm finding a lot of water in here, because that's been my biggest problem when I do these lawn projects or these overseeds, is convincing people that they have to water and get enough water in for long enough. It's very difficult, and if that seed germination gets disrupted, it just dies. There's nothing we can do about it. Now, the first cool sign that I'm looking for is you can see that white haze that's kind of on top of the grass. Now, just to remind you how Tenacity works, what it does is it blocks the carotenoid process, which basically inhibits chlorophyll and photosynthesis from occurring. So we're looking for the plants to start going white or just really pale, kind of. That must be what happened to me. Let's go check it out. Okay guys, let's jump on in. We've got all these patches of weeds and everything just sitting right here. And as you can see, we've got a lot of things laying over. Now this is pretty cool. We've got grass that looks like goose grass. You can always tell by these seeds on top, and it's dying. Goosegrass looks fairly similar to crabgrass, but you can see, I mean, this thing is just pale as can be. Now, I've got a little piece of quackgrass here, just sitting next, and he's not really dying too well. I mean, you can see some processing. I don't think this is going to work out with quackgrass. And just so you guys know at home, quackgrass is not on the label. Get over here to some of our biennial weeds like this dandelion. You can see it's all flopped over. Everything's working the way it's supposed to. We've got another species of dandelion that's just pale. I mean, you look at that color and it is not doing well. You can see that the leaf right next to it. Look at the difference in this. Working? Not yet. Working? Not yet, but soon to come. We got a little bit more of that, that goosegrass that's traveled over here that's completely dead. I mean, that's fast. That is really, really fast. Now coming into this bigger patch and looking at this grass, I'm trying to make a positive identification of it, and it's kind of fuzzy. I don't know what this is. Huh. Well, sometimes you win and lose, but it's definitely dying, which is cool. Wish I would have identified this earlier, but you win some and you lose some. This is kind of interesting to see. Look at it dying from the middle. Almost looks like a starfish. Now I definitely need to stand back and remind myself that it's only been 8 days. You know, we were just here doing all this work last week, and generally with just a base 2,4-D herbicide, it's going to take anywhere between 7 and 12 days before you really start seeing that corkscrewing action or really seeing indications that it's working. I got to be honest with you, I'm a little relieved that it's working. I mean, we did this as a project, but you just never know how some of these things are gonna go, but the homeowner's doing a great job on this one. All in all, we're doing pretty good. I'd say about 80% of the weeds are dying at this point. Let's go take a look at some of our hard to do weeds in this smaller section in the front here. I think you're gonna be surprised at what I'm seeing. I wanna show you some of the effects that we've had on some of this orchard grass and Johnson grass. You can see this is in an area that I didn't spray, and you can see it's nice and healthy. Now moving into this area over here, I think you'll be a little surprised at how well this is really working. I mean, it's really the epitome of what Tenacity does is right here. I mean, you can see it's just blocking everything it needs to photosynthesize the energy from the sun and doing exactly what Tenacity does. This is a very common nuisance grass here in Utah, is this orchard grass and Johnson grass, and I can't guarantee the results for everybody. I'm having spotty results in this lawn. Not all of it is being affected. You can see this spot right here. It's not really doing much, but again, we're only 8 days out. I wanted to get a closer look at some of the morning glory that we're dealing with. I'm not seeing like much of the Tenacity effects yet. I do know that morning glory is a little difficult. It takes it a little bit longer to process the 2,4-D, but I'm definitely not seeing any of that pale going on, and it looks pretty healthy. Now, this is right before we get to the backyard. We have these patches of tall fescue. This was what I have my fingers crossed, because this is a big one for a lot of you guys at home, is this wide leaf bunching tall fescue. You can see it just grows from the bottom here and kind of grows out and up. It's kind of bushy. It's not inviting on the feet, but I'm not seeing any movement as of right now from the Tenacity. It looks like we have a small glimmer of hope right here. You can see it's a little bit paler than some of these other pieces. So, you know, we're getting a little bit of push through it, which is nice. So I take it back. It looks like we're getting some push from the Tenacity through bunching tall fescue. I don't want to get my hopes up too much. I want to wait to see, because even in Kentucky bluegrass, we'll get some of these tips doing the same process, and then it kicks out of it. Now I want to go find myself some thistle. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if we can get some good push. I know a lot of you guys struggle out there with the purple-headed thistle. That's very common in our region. Let's go see what we can find. Wrapping around back here, the foxtail took a beating. I mean, you can see all these lighter areas. That's all the foxtail, and it's not happy, which is a really, really good sign. So it appears that this works really well. Got a few bunches of thistle on this side. Here's one here, and you can see it's starting to push. We're starting to get that lighter color from here to here. You can see at the base, It's flopping over a little bit. You know, it's sick, but it hasn't traveled through the plant completely. So I'm guessing that this is one of these weeds that's going to take 2 or 3 weeks to travel through. We'll see how it looks by next week. Let's see if we can find some more thistle. This is kind of our thistle patch, and it looks like we have a bunch right here. So, and again, the top layers are definitely seeing the signs. Definitely having issues here. So good news for all you thistle people out here, it's working. And again, thistle, it's sick up top, down below, so it's definitely doing its thing. Now, spurge was another one of those on our list that we gotta look out for. Spurge is usually slow moving with any sort of 2,4-D. So let's just see what we got here. Let's see. Here we go. And it looks like it's definitely having an effect. Again, it's slow moving. Sometimes I feel like this is more like watching paint dry than anything else. I think the majority of the benefits we're gonna see next week. Now we got some common mallow here. It doesn't at this point seem to be too affected by it, which kind of surprises me. I mean, we've got grasses, this, is this, you can see how it's growing at the base, but you can see, I mean, this is being affected, and then right next to it, we've got common mallow that's just healthy as could be. All right, onto the backyard. You can see it's one giant piece of spurge. Hey, focus guys, stop. Okay, back to the lawn. But you can see the tenacity, it's working. We've got a lot of discoloration going on. You can see it's killing a lot of these weeds, and it's doing what it's supposed to. Now on to our final area of the backyard. You can see underneath the slide, we've got a lot of movement with the tenacity throughout that orchard grass and Johnson grass. It's doing it. It's working really well. I'm pleasantly surprised. And then you can see the foxtail is really starting to die out. So this past week, I got a little worried. Temperatures dropped into the low 40s. So I want to see if our soil temperatures are still low enough that soil is germinating. I really don't think we're gonna have any problems because the daytime temperature is still pretty up there. We're still hitting mid 70s, but our nighttime temperature is different between 40 and 45 degrees. But let's see what the ground temperature says. Now, for those of you at home are about as OCD as I am and just want to stop the guessing, I got this at Bed Bath & Beyond for a whopping like $13. It's a meat thermometer, but it works really, really well. It's got this probe, and really with our soil temps, we want to see what's happening about 3 inches down, and this is perfect. We know the upper layers are going to be a little bit warmer than the bottom layers, but let's go put this in the ground and see what we're dealing with here. See, look at that. There we go. Whoops. I think I went into a soil plug. Let's give that a watch. Oh wow, these temps are still way up there. So we're definitely not going to have any problems with germination, assuming that the watering is spot on. All right, guys, we have touchdown. Here's a couple of pieces. I imagine this is our rhizomatous tall fescue, but I mean, this is so early in the process, I'm actually kind of shocked to even find it. $13 meat thermometer. Now I'm just gonna rest easy. I know the soil temps, even at nighttime when it's 40 degrees, the soil temps are gonna maybe dip into the 50, 55 degree range. We're still gonna get really good germination going on. If I had to pick my favorite part of the lawn with the Tenacity Challenge, it'd be seeing all those white tips. I mean, that's a lot of fun, guys. I gotta be honest with you, probably by far my favorite aspect of Tenacity. All right, guys, that just about wraps it up. If you guys have any questions or concerns, hit me up in the comments. Love to help you guys out. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button on your way out and hit the like button if you actually liked the video. Until next time. Now I'm a little worried, like, how did I get this pale? Like, how does that even happen? You think it's possible my mom sprayed me with Tenacity when I was young?